The video was sent to my phone during my bachelor party. My best friend's face went pale when he saw it first. There she was, Tara, my fiancée of 4 years, kissing my dad in the parking lot behind our house. Not just kissing. It was desperate, passionate, animalistic. And then she texted me, "Grow up." I felt my world collapse in seconds. And it started like any normal night. We were at a crappy bar in a town no one had heard of, Ashwell, Nevada. My friends had dragged me out to celebrate my last night of freedom. Little did I know that freedom was about to mean something entirely different. My phone buzzed on the sticky table. I didn't even look at it at first, until Ben grabbed it, went white, and shoved it at me. Double quotes. Dude. You need to see this. I stared at the screen. My dad, my fiancée, behind my house, his hands on her waist, her arms around his neck. And then the text, "Grow up." My stomach turned. I ran outside, gasping for air. The desert wind hit my face, but it didn't help. I felt like throwing up. Ben followed me out, cursing under his breath. "What the hell is this, man?" "Your dad?" I couldn't answer. I was shaking. My mind raced. Memories of dinners, holidays, moments they shared. I'd always thought they were just friendly. God, I was blind. Then my phone buzzed again. Another text. "Don't make this harder than it is, Kyle. Harder." She had just obliterated my life, and she wanted me to make it easy? Ben grabbed my shoulders. "You're not going home, man. You're not going to talk to them. We're handling this smart." But I wasn't thinking smart. I was thinking revenge. Rage boiled inside me. I wanted to burn it all down. I got in my truck and drove. Ben tried to stop me, but I needed answers. When I pulled into my driveway, their cars were there. My house, the one I bought, the one I worked my ass off for, the house where I was supposed to start my family. I walked in, and there they were, sitting on my couch. My dad, looking smug. Tara, looking bored, scrolling her phone. I lost it. "You could have at least waited until after the wedding," I screamed. "Or did you just get off on ruining me?" Tara didn't even flinch. "Kyle, grow up. This was inevitable." "You're too immature to see it." My dad crossed his arms. "Son, don't be dramatic. These things happen. These things happen. Was I hallucinating? Get out. Both of you, get the hell out of my house." They stood slowly, like I was inconveniencing them. Tara grabbed her purse. My dad smirked. "You'll thank me one day, son. When you're older, wiser." They walked out, like they owned the place. I stood there, heart pounding, breath ragged. And then I saw it. My dad's keys. He'd left them on the counter. Something snapped inside me. I picked them up, grabbed my lighter. And stepped outside. I walked to his car. That shiny new truck he'd bragged about. The one he parked in my driveway like it was his. And I set it on fire. The flames shot up fast. The heat on my face felt good. Right. The neighbors came out, shouting. But I didn't care. I watched that truck burn like my old life. Ben showed up, panting. "Kyle, what did you do?" I turned to him, grinning like a lunatic. "I just grew up." The fire department came fast, lights flashing, sirens screaming. But I didn't move. I just stood there, arms crossed, watching that truck melt into a heap of twisted metal. A symbol of my burned up life. A neighbor tried to pull me back. I shrugged him off. "Let it burn," I muttered. Ben grabbed my arm, panic in his voice. "Kyle, they'll arrest you, man." I laughed. A bitter, hollow sound. "Let them. Maybe I'll finally get some peace in a cell." But the cops didn't arrest me. Not yet. They questioned me. Sure. I played dumb. I don't know what happened. Officer, must have been electrical. My dad always was cheap on maintenance. They didn't buy it, but without proof. What could they do? They left. I stood alone in the driveway, the smell of smoke thick in the air, and I made a promise to myself right then. They took everything from me. Now I'll take everything from them. The next morning, the world felt different. The rage was still there, but it had sharpened. Focus. I wasn't going to sit around crying into my beer. Hell no. I was going to make them pay. I started with Tara. Knew all her secrets, the credit card debt she hid, the little shopping sprees she had on my dime. The fact that she'd been using my health insurance for her shady cosmetic procedures that she pretended were migraines. I pulled up every document, every receipt, every email, and I sent them all to her boss. With a little note. Thought. You should know what your trusted assistant's been up to. P.S. Check the company card statements. By noon, Tara was fired. No warning. No severance. Gone. She called me, voice shaking. How could you? You're destroying my life. I smiled. Oh, sweetie, grow up. Next was my dad. Oh, he thought he was untouchable. The big shot contractor. The guy who loved to brag at barbecues about his connections and reputation. Well, funny thing about reputations. They burn fast. I contacted every client I knew he was screwing over. Sent them copies of fake invoices he padded. Photos of unsafe work sites he'd signed off on. I even found an old email where he joked about cutting corners to make a quick buck. I sent that one to the local news. By the end of the week, my dad's company was under investigation. His face was plastered on the evening news with the headline, "Local builder accused of fraud and negligence." I watched it with a beer in hand. I raised my bottle to the TV. Cheers, Dad. Then came the kicker. Tara and my dad, they moved in together. Oh, they tried to keep it quiet, but I had eyes everywhere, and they were broke. She was jobless. He was losing contracts left and right. That fancy lifestyle they thought they'd have? Poof, gone. But I wasn't done. One night I showed up at their doorstep. Yeah, their doorstep. The little rental house they'd scurried into like rats. Tara opened the door. She looked awful. Hollow eyes. Hair a mess. She froze when she saw me. What do you want, Kyle? I grinned. Oh, nothing. Just wanted to see if you've grown up yet. My dad appeared behind her. You've got some nerve coming here. Nerve? I laughed. You haven't seen nerve. You're about to get evicted, aren't you? Owe 3 months' rent? Shame. His face turned red. Tara slammed the door. But not before I saw the cracks. The fear. The reality setting in. I walked back to my truck, heart pounding. Not from anger, from satisfaction. But the best part? I just closed on a new house. Twice the size, paid in cash. Courtesy of selling the house they defiled and a sweet bonus I got after exposing my dad's fraud. Poetic, right? As I stood on my new porch that night, looking out over the city lights, I thought about everything that had happened, and I smiled. Guess I grew up after all. But oh, this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I thought watching them fall apart would be enough. I thought I'd feel free, clean. But no. The deeper they sank, the more I wanted them to suffer. Because their misery, it still didn't match what they'd done to me. I wasn't just after payback anymore. I was after destruction. It started small. I found out Tara had applied for work at this upscale boutique. The kind of place where she used to blow my money on overpriced handbags. So I made a few calls. Sent them screenshots of her firing email. A little anonymous tip about her borrowing. From a company card, boom, application denied. I heard. She cried in the parking lot. Good. She could choke on her fake tears. My dad, he tried to start a new contracting gig under a different business name. Real original. I tracked down the paperwork. Sent it to the licensing board. Reported him for fraud. His application got denied before the ink dried. Every time they tried to claw their way out, I was there, waiting, one step ahead. Like a shadow they couldn't shake. But then, they tried to fight back. Tara texted me one night. The audacity. You're pathetic, Kyle. We're in love. You'll die alone. I stared at that message for a long time. And then I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. In love? What a joke. Their love was built on lies, cheating, and greed. And they thought I was pathetic? I decided it was time for a bigger play. There was this charity gala coming up. One my dad used to schmooze. His rich friends. I knew he'd try to weasel his way in, hoping to charm some investor dumb enough to trust him. So I made a donation. A big one. Enough to get me a VIP ticket. I showed up in a tailored suit. Looking sharp, confident. I mingled, smiled. And when I spotted my dad across the room, trying to cozy up to some exec, I made my move. I approached, glass raised. Evening, Dad. Small world, huh? His face drained of color. Kyle, don't make a scene. I grinned. Who, me? I'm just here to network. Like you. The exec looked confused. You two know each other? Oh, we're very close, I said. In fact, you should ask him about the fraud investigation. Fascinating stuff. The exec's smile vanished. My dad tried to cover, but the damage was done. The guy made a polite excuse and walked off. My dad grabbed my arm. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I yanked my arm free. What's wrong with you? You brought this on yourself. I walked away, leaving him standing there, humiliated, while the whispers started. Tara wasn't at the gala. No, she was too busy trying to cling to whatever scraps of her social life remained. Word had gotten out. Friends stopped answering her. Calls. Her Instagram? Dead? No likes. No comments. Just silence. A few days later, I got served. They were suing me. For defamation. Can you believe it? After everything they'd done? The court date was set. I was ready. I came armed with documents, screenshots, witnesses. They came with nothing. Just their pathetic sob stories. The judge didn't even let it drag out. Case dismissed. But I wasn't done. Oh no. I filed my own suit. For emotional distress, destruction of property, breach of trust. I had evidence. I had receipts. And they had nothing left. Not even dignity. The last time I saw them together was outside that courthouse. They looked like ghosts, pale, beaten. The fire was gone from their eyes. And me? I felt alive. Strong, Tara tried. One last jab. You're a monster, Kyle. I leaned in close. No, I just stopped being your doormat. And with that, I walked away. I thought I'd feel empty. I didn't. I felt free. But as I drove home, windows down, wind in my hair, I realized one thing. This wasn't just revenge. This was my rebirth. Just when I thought I closed the book on Tara and my dad, life threw a new match into the ashes. And this one? Oh, it set the whole forest on fire. It started with a knock at my door. Late at night. I opened it, expecting Ben, maybe a neighbor. But no, it was her, Tara, alone, wet from the rain, eyes red, lip trembling. Please, Kyle, you have to help me. I stood there, stunned. The woman who destroyed me now begging at my door? The irony was thick. I almost laughed. Almost. Help you? I said, crossing my arms. Did you hit your head on the way over? She shook her head, voice cracking. It's my dad. Your dad. He's gone crazy. I don't know where else to go. I hesitated. Everything in me screamed to slam the door. But curiosity made me let her in. Big mistake. She stepped inside, dripping water on my floors, shivering. I grabbed a towel against my better judgment and tossed it at her. Start talking, I said. Tara took a shaky breath. After the court case, he changed. Started drinking. A lot. Got paranoid. Said you ruined his life. That he had nothing left to lose. I snorted. He didn't have anything left to begin with. No, you don't get it. She snapped. He's dangerous now. He blames me. Blames everyone. Tonight, he snapped. He trashed our house. Said he was going to burn it down. Said he'd take us all out. My blood ran cold. I wanted to believe she was being dramatic. But deep down, I knew she wasn't. My dad had always been a master of hiding his dark side. But now, there was nothing left for him to hide behind. Why come here? I asked, narrowing my eyes. Why not call the cops? She hesitated. Because he said he'd come for you first. He's got your address. He's on, Kyle, and that's when I heard it. A car engine, tires on gravel, headlights cutting through the rain, stopping in my driveway. No, freaking. Way? Tara's face went white. It's him. I didn't wait. I grabbed my phone, dialing 911 with one hand, while with the other I grabbed the bat I kept by the door. Yeah, I wasn't about to play hero. But I wasn't going down easy either. 911, what's your emergency? My father's outside my house. He's armed. He's threatening us. Send someone now. I hung up before they could ask more. My heart pounded in my ears. The engine. Cut. A car door slammed. Heavy footsteps on my porch. Kyle. My dad's voice, slurred, furious. Come out here. Face me, you coward. I gripped the bat tighter. Tara hid behind me, shaking. The door rattled as he pounded on it. Open up, damn it. You ruined me. You ruined everything. The cops weren't here yet. And I wasn't about to open that door. So I did the only thing I could think of. I went out the back. I pulled Tara with me, both of us slipping in the mud, heart racing. We sprinted through my yard, jumped the fence like kids running from trouble. Except this was no game. I heard him smash a window. The sound of glass shattering echoed through the night. Then a roar of rage. Get back here. You think you can destroy me and walk away. We ran down the street. into the night. Until finally, flashing lights appeared. Sirens. The sweetest sound I'd ever heard. The cops tackled him before he could do more damage. I watched from the shadows, chest heaving, soaked to the bone. And for the first time in forever, I felt safe. Or so I thought. Because the next day, as I sat in the station giving my statement, one of the officers pulled me aside. "You might want to look at this," he said, handing me a folder. Inside, photos of my dad's house, or what was left of it, burned to the ground. Arson. They suspected him. But there was more. An insurance policy, one I didn't know about, one that named me as the beneficiary, and suddenly, everything changed again. I stared at that insurance policy, my mind spinning. My dad had taken out $1 million life insurance policy and named me the sole beneficiary. When? Why? I hadn't spoken to him in months, except to destroy what was left of his pathetic reputation. None of this made sense. Or maybe it made too much sense. Why am I just finding out about this now? I asked, glaring at the officer. He shrugged. We didn't know either. The insurance company flagged it after the fire. You were listed. Standard procedure. I left the station in a daze. The rain had stopped, but the storm inside me raged on. My dad had burned his house down, tried to kill me. And now I was sitting on a policy that made it look like I had something to gain from his death. Hell no. I wasn't getting framed for this nightmare. I went straight to the insurance company. Demanded answers. The agent a weasel in a cheap suit smiled like he dealt with murderers daily. Yes, Mr. Hawley, your father updated the policy 6 months ago. Named you as the beneficiary. Very generous man. I almost laughed. Generous? You do realize he tried to kill me last night, right? The guy blinked. That's unfortunate, but the policy is valid. If he dies, you're entitled to the payout. That's when it hit me. My dad wasn't just drunk and angry. He'd planned this. The arson. The breakdown. The threats. He was setting me up. He wanted me to look guilty. Maybe he even planned to die in that fire and let me take the fall. Make it look like I'd had him killed for the money. I left that office. Heart pounding. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. And Tara? Oh, she saw dollar signs the second she heard about the policy. She called me the next day, all sweet and shaky. Double quotes, Kyle. Maybe we could talk. I think we've both been through so much. We should stick together through this. I almost dropped my phone from laughing so hard. Stick together? You mean until you can figure out how to get a piece of that insurance money? She went silent. You're unbelievable, Tara. Truly. But hey, nice try. I hung up, but I knew she wouldn't stop. People like Tara don't walk away from a jackpot. I was right. A week later, I got a letter from her lawyer. She was filing for palimony. Said we'd lived together long enough that she was entitled to support. Claimed emotional distress. Said I owed her for the lifestyle she'd grown accustomed to. You can imagine how that went down. I hired the nastiest lawyer I could find. The kind who made sharks look polite. He shredded her case. Exposed her lies. Brought up the affair, the fraud, the court records. Tara walked out of that courtroom looking like she'd been hit by a truck. I didn't owe her a cent, but the insurance mess? That was far from done. Because my dad wasn't dead. Not yet. But he was missing. The cops couldn't find him. No one could. It was like he'd vanished off the face of the earth, and that made things worse. Because as long as he was missing, the policy was in limbo. The investigation stayed open. And I was stuck in this nightmare, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Then it did. One night, I got a call. Block number. Kyle. The voice rasped. It's not over. You think you won. I'm watching. And when you least expect it, I'll end it, and you'll take the blame. The line went dead. I froze. My dad, alive, out there, watching, and I had no idea where or when he'd strike. But one thing was certain. The game had changed, and this time, I wasn't just fighting for revenge, I was fighting for my life. The call haunted me. Every shadow outside my window felt like him. Every creak of my house made my skin crawl. I barely slept. I checked every lock twice. But no matter how ready I thought I wasn't ready for what happened next. It was a quiet night, too quiet. I was sitting in my living room, lights low, trying to act normal. My phone buzzed. A text, unknown number. Look outside. My blood turned ice cold. I stood, heart thudding so loud it echoed in my ears. Slowly I pulled the curtain back. My yard was empty, or so I thought. Then I saw it. A figure at the edge of the trees, watching, motionless. My father. Before I could react, a flash something flew through the air. A Molotov cocktail. It hit the side of my house. Fire exploded across the siding. The heat hit me in the face like a slap. I grabbed my phone, dialing 911 as I ran for the fire extinguisher. My hands shook as I sprayed foam at the flames. But it spread fast. Too fast. Outside, my dad's voice roared through the night. You ruined me. Now I'll ruin you. Burn it all down, Kyle. Sirens. Again, the universe's favorite soundtrack for my life. But this time, I wasn't going to run. I burst out the door, bat in hand. I wasn't thinking. I was done thinking. I charged him. He swung at me, first wild, sloppy, fueled by rage and booze. I ducked, slammed the bat into his side. He fell, gasping, cursing. The fire behind me roared higher, lighting the night like day. You're insane, I shouted. You kill me just to make me look guilty? He spat blood, eyes wild. It's your fault, all of it. You took everything. No, Dad. You took everything. And now it's over. The cops tackled him before he could get up again, pinned him to the ground. The fire department swarmed my house, battling the flames. I stood there, bat hanging at my side, shaking. Not from fear. From adrenaline. From the weight of it all crashing down at once. Later, at the station, the truth spilled out. My dad confessed everything. The arson, the setup. The plan to frame me for his death. His plan to die in the blaze and leave me holding the bag. But he couldn't go through with it. Coward to the end, the insurance company dropped the policy. The investigation closed. The nightmare? Finally over. I sold what was left of the house. Moved across the country. New name, new city, new start. But here's the twist that no one saw coming. Months later, I got a letter. No return address. Inside, a check. A big one. From the very exec whose deal I ruined at that gala. A note attached, saw the news. You did the city a favor. Here's a thank you. And a job offer if you want it. I stared at that check for a long time. Then I laughed. Not bitter. Not hollow. Real laughter. For the first time in what felt like forever, I cashed that check. Took the job. Built a new life. One I made on my own terms. No shadows. No ghosts. And when I tell people the story now, they don't believe me. They say no one could survive that much betrayal, that much chaos, and still come out standing. But I did. And if you're wondering about my dad, let's just say, last I heard, he's right where he belongs, behind bars, where he can't hurt anyone ever again. And Tara, well, she tried to worm her way back into my life once. Sent me some sob story about being broken alone. I didn't even read past the first line. I hit delete because I'd finally grown up and I was done looking back. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought? Or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.